The mortgage rates plummet after the Federal Reserve's most recent meeting. Could this reinvigorate our local housing market? There's a lot to unpack in this month's housing market update. We saw the Federal Reserve met again. We've seen that price decreases are on the rise and our housing inventory is increasing as well. We will cover all this and more this month as we review Charlotte, North Carolina's housing market. Hi guys, my name is Josh Finigan, team leader with the Finigan Group, powered by eXp Realty, and today we're going to give you the most up-to-date information and data on our local Charlotte, North Carolina housing market. We're going to take a look at the micro and macro trends, what's going on in our economy, so you guys know exactly what's going on in your backyard. And you guys watch the news, you know there's a lot going on in the world, in the United States, and in our economy. So our housing market's getting affected in a lot of different fronts. So if you do want to make sure you stay 100% up to date on what's going on in our local Charlotte, North Carolina housing market, make sure you click that subscribe button and turn notifications on. We are shooting videos monthly going deep into the numbers, giving you everything you need to know about what's going on here in Charlotte, North Carolina. So let's go ahead and jump on in and take a look at the number of new listings we saw at the market in October. In October, we saw 1,212 new listings come on the market here in Charlotte, which was a 1% decrease in the amount of homes we saw hit the market in September, and it was a 2% decrease in the amount of homes we saw hit the market in October of 2022. So it's not uncommon to see fewer and fewer homes coming onto the market, especially in the latter part of the year. Once you get to the fourth quarter, you tend to see the amount of new inventory hitting the market decrease. Now we are pretty close to the amount of new listings we saw at the market this time last year, which for those of you who do watch our monthly market updates, you know that we have seen much fewer people put their homes on the market this year than last year, which isn't that surprising because if you remember this time last year, the market was going through a lot of turbulence. Rates were rising very rapidly, which put a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt into the market and into a lot of buyers, which led to a lot of pain in the latter part of last year. So we're not seeing that much pain this year, but we will see it reflect in the numbers when we look at the year-over-year data. Now, something very interesting, we did see a lot of homes accept offers here in October. In October, we saw 937 homes accept an offer, which is an 8% increase from the number of homes accepted an offer in September, and it's a 6% increase from the number of homes that accepted an offer in October of 2022. So this is very interesting and pretty contrary to what we should expect through seasonal trends. So we've definitely seen a lot of activity in our local housing market over the past month, and I'll tell you, I personally sold 13 homes in October, so I've seen this activity really pick up over the past month. So this is something we really want to make sure we keep an eye on because rates remained high through the month of October. With that being said, we did see the number of new listings hitting the market outpace the number of pending sales, which means more people put their homes on the market than had offers accepted, which has been a common occurrence throughout this entire year. And this is a leading indicator that should indicate that our housing inventory is increasing. And that's exactly what we saw in October. Our inventory increased. In October, we saw that the average amount of homes on the market currently for sale at any given time was 3,178 homes, which is a 5% increase from the amount of active listings we saw in September, but it was a 17% decrease from the amount of active homes this time last year. So even though we saw a slight increase in the amount of active inventory, it still shows you year over year we have much fewer homes available. Now, even though the number of new listings have outpaced the number of pending sales throughout this entire year, over the past few months, we've seen that the amount of active listings at any given time has decreased. And that was because the number of expired and withdrawn listings increased pretty rapidly over a few months span. Now, this month was a little bit different. The number of expired and withdrawn listings we saw in October actually decreased. In October, we saw 1,279 homes expire or withdraw from the market, which was a 4% decrease from the number of homes that were taken off the market in September. So we saw a 5% increase in the amount of active listings and a 4% decrease in the number of expired and withdrawn listings. When you take into account the number of new inventory compared to pending sales, this really shows you that these leading indicators can really help us determine where our market's going. In October, we saw 863 homes close, which is a 15% decrease from the amount of homes that closed in September, and it was a 19% decrease from the amount of homes that closed this time last year in October. So we've definitely seen a decrease in the amount of closed homes from September to October, but we've seen a 19% decrease year over year in the amount of closed homes, which is a huge testament to there's fewer homes coming onto the market, which means fewer homes going under contract, which means fewer homes selling. And this really points back to an unforeseen circumstance of the higher mortgage rates. Many homeowners are just deciding not to sell this year. 80% of homeowners in the United States have locked in a mortgage rate of 5% or lower, and 33% of them have locked in a rate below 3%. So a lot of them just don't want to make a move because they've locked in that low mortgage rate for the next 30 years. It's really trapping people in their home. And the low level of housing inventory is one of the biggest factors really keeping our housing market stable, right? Supply has been super low this year, so buyers have had fewer homes to choose from, and there's frankly still a lot of buyers out there looking for homes. And it's all about supply versus demand. So if we look at the average sales price, in October the average sales price was $537,000. So it was a slight decrease from the average sales price in September, but it was still a 9% increase in the average sales price we saw in October of 2022. So we've definitely seen the average sales price here in the Charlotte area fluctuate over the past few months, but we do see a very healthy increase in the average sales price when we look at year over year trends. So the housing market, especially in this area, has remained relatively resilient, even though we've seen much higher rates and buyers' affordability at all-time lows. Now we are starting to see these higher mortgage rates causing a toll on home buyers out there, and we can see that in the numbers. According to Redfin, nearly 7% of homes for sale in the United States had a price drop in October. And we've experienced the same thing here in the Charlotte area. The number of active listings that had a price drop increased from 4.8% at the beginning of September to 6.5% at the end of October. Even though we have seen an increase in the frequency of price drops in the Charlotte area, we have seen the average days on market remain relatively stable at around 35 days. And again, one of the biggest things affecting our housing market is the Federal Reserve and the mortgage rates. The Federal Reserve met again on October 31st and November 1st, and they announced they would not raise rates. They would keep them between 5.25% and 5.5%, which is good news for home buyers and home sellers out there, but we're not out of the woodworks yet. Jerome Powell mentioned that he would not rule out another rate hike next time they meet December 12th and December 13th, which will be the last meeting of the 2023 calendar year. So there is a chance we can still see one more rate hike this year. Now, after the Federal Reserve's meeting, we actually saw the mortgage rates plummet. They went from hovering just above 8% to now just below 7.5%. So we really saw about a half a basis point change in the mortgage rates. And guys, remember, the buyers don't buy for price point, they buy for payment. And the rule of thumb is every 1% change in the mortgage rates affects a buyer's purchasing power by about 10%. So really, over the past week, we've seen that buyers can afford about 5% more house than they could just 2 weeks ago. Which, if you take the average sales price here in Charlotte, that really increases a buyer's purchasing power by about $25,000. So this recent change could really reinvigorate the home buyers out there and spice up our local housing market. This really could increase the activity, at least for the short term, in our housing market. So for you home sellers out there asking yourself, is now a good time to sell? Well, if you look at the year-over-year trends, you've seen an average appreciation in homes by about 9%. So you really still can take advantage of the market and sell your home for top dollar. And with the recent decrease in the mortgage rates, you should see a lot of buyers coming onto the market, maybe out of the woodworks, and a lot of activity here in the next couple weeks. But you will see a little bit more competition when you hit the market, right? The number of active listings have increased and those rates are still pretty high. Now, for you home buyers out there, you definitely have a lot of great points. You are seeing the housing inventory increase, which means you have more homes to choose from, even though our inventory is still pretty darn low. And you are still seeing pretty high mortgage rates, but we have seen them tick down just a little bit. We don't know what the rates will do in the future. I think a lot of it will depend on the next Federal Reserve meeting in December, if they decide to hold rates steady for the rest of the year, or if they decide to have one more rate hike this year. But if those mortgage rates do drop, know you'll see a lot more competition for homes out there. There are a lot of buyers on the sideline right now just waiting for that rate to drop. So as those rates drop, you may see you're competing a little bit harder than you were previously for homes available on the market. But the big question of, is it right for you to either buy, sell, or invest in real estate right now? And the answer really depends on what you're looking to accomplish and your personal goals. So if you are considering buying, selling, or investing in real estate anywhere in the greater Charlotte area, myself and my team would love to be your real estate resource of choice. Love to have a chat with you, really identify what you're looking to accomplish, and see if now is a good time or if you may be better served waiting a little bit. So feel free to give us a call, text, email, whatever works best for you. I'd love to chat with you and see how we can help you in your real estate goals today. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, click that like button. It shows me that you care. If you want to make sure you never miss any of our future videos, just click that subscribe button and turn notifications on. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.